Hello, I'm Ed Finch, Mr. Finch. I'm from Larkrise Primary School, and I'm going to read you a story tonight. I've got this story for you. I've got Alfie Wins a Prize by Shirley Hughes, which is suitable for all ages. It was published, at least this edition was published by Red Fox. So thank you, Red Fox, for publishing this and letting us put it up online. Here's Alfie. He's going to go in for an art competition. You can see the pictures from the competition. I can tell you, who wins and who loses is not as simple as you'd think. Alfie Wins a Prize by Shirley Hughes. One Saturday morning, when Alfie and Annie Rose had finished their breakfast, Dad said he was thinking of taking them to the harvest fair at the big school that afternoon. Alfie and Annie Rose liked fairs where there were usually interesting things to look at and good things to eat. There's going to be a pet show and a children's painting competition too, Dad told Alfie. Alfie wanted to take their cat, Chessie, along and put her into the pet show. He was sure that she would win a prize, but Mum said that Chessie wasn't the sort of cat who would like being in a show, and that it might put her into a cross mood. What about painting a picture instead? Dad suggested. There's Chessie. To me, she looks like she's already in a bad cross mood. Alfie thought painting a picture was a good idea. He liked painting. Mum found a piece of paper and a paintbrush, and they cleared a space on the table. Then they got out the paints that Grandma had given them, and Mum showed Alfie how to wash out his brush so the colours would not get mixed up and turn muddy. What shall I paint? Alfie asked. Mum thought. Then she fetched the jug, which had yellow and orange leaves and red berries and mauve daisy flowers in it. She put it on the table. These are pretty, don't you think? She said. But Alfie did not want to paint leaves and berries. He already had a better idea, so he dipped his brush carefully into the paint and he began his picture. When he'd finished, everyone was very interested to see what he'd painted. Well, I like all that red and black, said Dad. It's a face, I can see that. Is it some sort of a bird? No, said Alfie. It's a motorbike man. These are his eyes, and this is his red helmet, and these are his black gloves. There's Alfie's painting there. Red helmet, black gloves. Yeah. Mum helped Alfie to write his name under the picture, and then she wrote at the top, Children's Painting Competition, 5 and under, Motorbike Man. And she stuck the picture up on the door of the fridge so they could all admire it while they had lunch. And then they set off for the harvest fair, Alfie carrying his painting, carefully rolled. There he is, next to Mum and Dad. The first people they saw in the big school hall were Maureen McAnally and her mum. They'd made an enormous cake, and they were inviting people to guess how much it weighed. The person who guessed nearest was going to win the cake. And then Alfie and Mum and Dad and Annie Rose went to look at the flowers and the fruit and the vegetables, and at the second-hand toys, and at the homemade cakes and fudge. They went into the school playground to look at the pet show. Let's look at the pet show. What animals can you see? I can see some birds in a cage. I can see... Do you think that's a hamster there in the cage? And there's lots of dogs. Oh, there's a tortoise. A goldfish in a bowl. And look, he is Alfie's friend carrying a jar. Min and her little sister Lily had brought their beautiful rabbits. They let Alfie and Annie Rose stroke them. The white rabbit, Bianca, had pink eyes. Domino's eyes were like shiny dark brown beads. Bernard had put his pet beetle into the show. It lived in a jam jar amongst a lot of leaves. You can't see him now, because he's hiding, Bernard told Alfie. He may come out later if he feels like it. Bernard was going in for the children's painting competition too, so they all went off together. And when they got there, Bernard unrolled his picture and he held it up for Alfie and Annie Rose to see. It's 2 slime monsters having a fight, he said. Bernard was not a careful painter. There was a lot of slime and red blood dripping all over the picture, but Alfie and Annie Rose thought it was very good. A lot of other children were handing in their pictures, and a teacher was pinning them all up on big screens. Alfie's motorbike man was pinned up with the other pictures. I wonder if you can see it. Everyone was gathering around to look. Some children had done cars and trucks and spaceships. The Santos twins had both painted bugs and butterflies. There's some bugs and butterflies. I think that's theirs. There's Alfie's one. Slime monsters. Can you see the slime monsters? I think that's them there. Kevin Turley had done a picture of his mum. Louise Harper had painted a blue house with a lot of smoke coming out of the chimney, and Rahmina Sharif had done a beautiful picture of orange and yellow leaves and berries and a big red apple. There it is. Very nice. On a table nearby were the prizes. Now, the first prize for the fives and unders was a picture book about dinosaurs. The second prize was a jigsaw puzzle of a farmyard scene, and the third prize was a bottle of bright green bubble bath. There it is. Behind them sat a sad, stuffed woolly animal. Alfie was not sure whether he was a sheep or a goat. He's a consolation prize, Mum explained. That's a cheer-up prize for someone who's not won but tried very hard. The consolation prize's ears were lopsided, and he wore a jersey with orange buttons. There he is. Alfie stared at him, but he did not look back. He had his nose in the air as if he was trying not to mind about not being a proper prize like the others. Everyone waited around while the judges looked at the pictures. But now, at last, the winners were being announced. Ready. First prize, Rahmina Sharif. Second prize, Kevin Turley. Third prize, will it be Alfie? Third prize, Alfie! Everyone clapped and cheered, and Alfie stepped up all by himself, and he shook hands with the lady who was presenting the prizes. She gave him the green bubble bath and told him she thought his picture was colourful and original. And last of all, it was announced that the consolation prize went to Louise for her blue house. It was all very exciting. Alfie's friends crowded around him, all except Bernard, that is. He is Bernard, and do you know what? I don't think he looks pleased. He was very upset that his painting of slime monsters had not won. He told Alfie that he thought all the prizes were silly. And Louise was not happy either. Oh, she's rather down in the dumps, I'm afraid, her dad told Alfie's dad later when they were all having tea together. She's had her heart set on that green bubble bath. Soft toys are babyish, said Louise. There she is, can you see? She's not a happy bunny. And she shoved the consolation prize down on the floor beside her chair. Well, he sat there with his nose still proudly in the air. Of course, Alfie knew that toys cannot understand anything, but secretly he hoped that the sheep, or goat's feelings were not hurt because Louise did not want him. And Alfie felt a tiny bit sorry for Louise too. She was so cross, disappointed. Then he quietly made up his mind. He slipped off his chair. He went to whisper in Dad's ear. Alfie has a suggestion to make, said Dad out loud. Alfie went over to Louise and he said, I'll swap my bubble bath for your prize if you like. Louise thought that was an excellent idea, so they swapped prizes right away. And now Louise was all smiles. She said she was going to ask Alfie to tea at her house next Saturday and let him have a go on her new trampoline. And then they waved goodbye, Louise clutching her bubble bath and Alfie holding the consolation prize tightly in his arms. Well, when the harvest fair was over, the children who had painted pictures were allowed to take them home. Alfie carried his painting carefully rolled under one arm and his consolation prize under the other. On the way out, they met Bernard, looking very pleased with himself. "My beetle has won a prize for being the smallest pet," he told Alfie, "and I got a packet of chocolate buttons." Alfie and Annie Rose looked into the jam jar, but they still could not see Bernard's prize-winning beetle, only leaves. "I don't know if there really is a beetle in there." "He's had a very exciting day," said Bernard. "He may be feeling a bit tired." And then he gave Alfie and Annie Rose 2 chocolate buttons each. As soon as they got home, Annie Rose wanted to do a painting of her own. Luckily, there was still plenty of paint left in the palette. When she'd finished, she made Mum stick her picture up on the fridge too, underneath Alfie's. Yeah, I think she did all right. Alfie sat his prize on the windowsill next to his old knitted elephant, Flumbo. "What will you call him?" Dad wanted to know. Alfie thought about it for a while. He was remembering a name which he'd often seen on a bus which passed near their street, which he'd often asked Mum to spell out for him. He liked the sound of it. "His name is Willisden," he said. "I think that name suits him very well," said Mum. And that is how Willisden stopped being a consolation prize and became part of the family. Look, there's Alfie shaking hands with that lady who judged the painting competition. She looks a lot like Shirley Hughes, who wrote this story. There she is, Shirley Hughes. So, Alfie wins a prize. I hope you liked the story. Hope that Red Fox are okay with us reading it to you. Good night and sleep well.